This is the all-new 2025 Chevy Blazer EV SS, and I'm very, very curious to see how good this car actually is. Now, I've been driving it for the last week or so, and it's been pretty good, but I have a few things that I'm a little concerned about in the long run, but let's go ahead and show you guys a quick little rundown of the Chevy Blazer EV SS. Now, I have to say, one of my biggest pet peeves with GM's EVs as of recent is the lack of a frunk, because there is no way in 2025 where this is the standard for all GM vehicles. It's really disturbing, and I'm not entirely sure why they haven't figured it out by now. But the fact that Tesla has had frunks in their vehicles since the dawn of time, I'm not entirely sure why Chevy, Cadillac, and other GM manufacturers haven't quite figured out that issue yet. While we're up here, I must say this front light bar looks really, really good on the Blazer EV. Like, it looks really sharp, and that is one thing I'll give Chevy's design team. Their engineering team might not be the best, but their design team sure is on point. And speaking of engineering, let's talk about the specs of this car. We got 3.4 seconds 0 to 60, a top speed of 125 miles an hour, which seems a little low for an SS, but I digress. Up front, we have a CCS adapter delivering up to 190 kilowatts of energy, which I will say is okay. Oh, look at the way that thing glides. Very, very dramatic for a car in this class. That paired with a 102 kilowatt hour battery gives this thing an estimated 310 mile range, which I have to say, for a performance vehicle, that's really not bad, especially considering GM's efficiency is usually pretty on point. Which means, in theory, 310 miles of range with this thing should actually get you 310 miles of real-world usage. And coming to the back of the Chevy Blazer EV, we've got roughly 60 feet of cubic space in the back with the seats folded down, which I will say is pretty decent for a smaller mid-size SUV. Now that we're done with the exterior, let's talk about the interior of the Chevy Blazer, because this thing is just a little interesting. But quickly, let's teleport out of Malibu and back to the San Francisco Bay Area. Oh, well, that's close enough to the Bay Area. Anyway, we're greeted with this really nice leather-wrapped steering wheel with the Super Cruise bar and heated functionality. We also, of course, have our media control options on the right, as well as our cruise control options on the left of the steering wheel. You've also got really nice red stitching, as well as an SS badge to show off that you have the top trim of the Chevy Blazer EV. Now, coming up here, we have our famous digital rear view mirror that I absolutely love to see in every single GM vehicle. I mean, I hope this comes to every trim, as well as our 360 camera, so we have a full overhead view of the Chevy Blazer itself. We've also got a configurable gauge cluster, which I will say is super convenient to have, especially considering this car doesn't have CarPlay or Android Auto. Like, having this map available at all times is super, super convenient. And one of my favorite features about the SS trim specifically is the Z mode option in your drive mode settings. It basically allows you to adjust literally anything within the car's settings, as well as turn on competitive mode, which turns off traction and stability control, which can be super, super fun with this car. And turning on competitive mode also by default turns on watts to freedom, which gives you that extra boost of energy. Now, the last thing I'll touch on while I'm up here is the speaker system. Now, this car uses the factory Bose system, and I will say I'm not the biggest fan of it in the slightest. I've tried messing around in the EQ and everything, but honestly, Chevy's Bose systems have notoriously been very terrible as of recent. I mean, after testing the Silverado EV, the Colorado, and now the Blazer EV's sound systems, which are all Bose, I've found that none of them really have any immersiveness at all. If anything, the sound system just ends up turning out super flat, and it's just not really enjoyable if you're really into audio. So keep that in mind if you're considering something like the Cadillac Optic, for example, over this car, because the Cadillac Optic's AKG system sounds so much better than this thing's Bose system does. Now, heading into the back of the Blazer EV, we get, well, the essentials, which I really can't complain about considering we do get a decent amount of legroom and headroom back here. We of course have more of those really cool looking wind turbine vents, as well as 2 USB-C ports and 2 heated seats. And of course your run-of-the-mill GM cup holders, as well as 2 cup holders, 1 in each door pocket. So the age-old question, would I recommend you buy the brand new Chevy Blazer EV SS? Yes, but only if the brand new 2026 Tesla Model Y Performance doesn't exist. Because as of now, that car has not reached the market yet. And I believe once that vehicle reaches the market, in the US at least, that thing will smoke this thing absolutely to the core. So yes, if you're comparing this car to any of the current outgoing Tesla Model Y performance vehicles, or really any other performance EV, I would say this thing wins every time. But comparing it to the unreleased Tesla Model Y performance, that's another story. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I will see you guys later. See ya.